Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast. I'm your host Dan Rolinson, back in the Poddymore Heath studio, joined by John Townley. This podcast is of course sponsored by NordVPN, and for the best discount code available you can follow the link in the description. John, you wear a Villa shirt.
I know.
I think for the first podcast ever.
Yeah, it feels like I wear Villa shirts a lot, but not on a podcast.
It's strange, yeah.
I know, I tried to keep my sort of balance and, if I'm wearing a Villa shirt and whatnot, it looks a bit, I don't know.
It looks good, it suits you. It's actually one of my old ones from years and years ago.
Yeah, we usually hang it up. It's a very, very nice shirt. What's it, 2008 away?
I think so, yeah. It doesn't fit me anymore.
7 to 8, I think. We're
actually here today to do 10 things that we've learned about Aston Villa so far this season. You've got a little notebook with some things in it, and we're going to talk about them.
Yes. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. Should we do the actual list?
This is 10 things that we've learned so far this season.
Yeah, that's what I just said, yeah. Do you want to reel off then the first?
Do you want to give me a number? Should we do all that?
I can do, yeah. Have you got little subheaders like we did for the fan zone?
Mostly.
Okay. Let's go for number 6 then, first of all.
This one is the John is right.
John is right.
I haven't changed this was not supposed to happen. It was. So I haven't got a subheader for this.
This one is called John is right.
No. This was a joke, an inside joke.
Yeah, it's now an outside joke. What's this about then? Winning
right.
Europa League is...
Right, so no, a lot of these may be related to players or different, so we wanted to kind of give a variety. But something that I think we can talk about after we've played 2 games is that we're going to know in the Europa League. So we obviously speak about how that's a big opportunity for Villa.
Yeah.
And generally, my thoughts have been if we don't win it, we've failed, because that, for me, it has to be the goal to win the Europa League, and that we're capable of doing it. And the kind of point that I want to raise with this is that we've won 2 of our first games, which does not mean it counts for very little, right? For most teams. Yeah. But I just think, and we have to respect opposition, I always say this, right? But with the games that we've got coming up, there's no excuse not to finish in the top 8 for a start.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But
I do think we've got to, we've given ourselves a perfect opportunity so far to finish quite high in that top 8, and it's very important. So just quick, we're not going to go on forever about these things, but so first and second last season, Bilbao and Lazio, they didn't even get to the final, obviously, so it doesn't mean that you're going to get to the final. Yeah. However, the game has changed now, where you get your second leg at home if you finish first and second in the 16 quarters and semi-final, which I think for Villa especially is a massive thing.
Yeah.
We haven't lost at Villa Park unless it's Crystal Palace since Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Apart from Crystal Palace. So that is an incredible record. And Bilbao and Lazio, they won 6 games out of the 8 that they played. So we need to win 4 more to hit that number, obviously. Yeah. And the 6 games we have left, if we kind of just go through them quickly. So Tel Aviv at home, Young Boys at home,
Basel.
Salzburg at home, and then away is Basel. And it's Go Ahead Eagles, and it's Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce stands out for me as that's going to be a test of us, for sure. But Lazio and Bilbao, they drew 1 and lost 1 of their 8 matches and then won the other 6. That, for me, is doable.
Agreed.
And if we finish in the top 2, that's a huge chance to, and I just think the Bologna game, for where we were, especially at the start of the season, that was difficult, real difficult for us. And we got over the line just about, wasn't pretty, but we did it. Great. And then Feyenoord was going to be, and we said it before, I think our hardest game. And it turned out to be a very tricky match, especially again, because we're not firing on all cylinders here. If we go to Fenerbahce in January, hell, we could even have new signings, because it's in January. We can't register them though, so it doesn't matter. But
we could have new signings watching.
Things will change, right? Injuries, players coming back, different structures. We seem to have found a bit of a groove where, as we said in the Q&A, different things are happening. And we're not going to get into it now because there might be the stuff in here. But I just think, I said John is right. That's not the point we're trying to make it. But it's more of, this is a real opportunity for us. I really think it is. And if you can get into the top 2, I do think it makes our job even... It fuels it even more for me.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, give us another point on this list then.
Give us a number.
Number 1.
Right back at it.
Right back at it. Right back at you. What's that about?
It's about
Matty Cash,
on number 2. Yeah. Matty Cash. We'll move quicker through these. Spoken about him a little bit in the Q&A as well that we did, but essentially he's having a good season.
Yeah. And nothing spectacular, not having a 10 out of 10 performance week in, week out, but has his critics, and absolutely rightly so. We're not rewriting history here, that he's been a brilliant servant for Villa and played exceptionally well game week in, game week out for 5 years. He's had his moments, Man United last season, most notably, probably most famously of his errors, and does have a mistake in him and will make mistakes again. But I think it's important not to jump on every mistake as he's a terrible player, get rid of him. Like, will he be upgraded at some point? Yeah, obviously he's not going to be here for the rest of all time. But this season in particular, whilst Villa haven't been very well, I think you can kind of hang your hat on that he's at least given it his all and he's playing to a good standard. He's probably been a 7 out of 10 most weeks and been steady and dependable, and in a position where there is no backup really, apart from probably putting Konsa out there or Lindelof maybe.
Yeah.
He's the most natural right back that we have who's fit and available. You need him to be at that level because there isn't anyone else, so maybe he's kind of relishing that a bit, that he knows he's playing, he knows he's going to be consistent and he can just keep doing his job, and if he plays like he does now for the rest of the season, he'll have a good year.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Was that it?
I think so. I just think we're trying to split it up a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, okay, fine, fair enough.
Is that right? Another number, please.
4, please.
Pau. He's back.
Pau, he's back. I like doing these little headers of putting on the fan zone. You've had a go this week. Pau, he's back. I had Pau Wow Torres last week, so that's as bad. Yeah, Pau Torres is back. He looks sharp this season. As we've said before in previous episodes, that especially in games where Tielemans doesn't play, Pau's progression is definitely notable and useful to how Villa want to play.
Yeah.
But I also think there's been games this season where he seems more physical, and I don't know whether that's a little bit of a kind of placebo effect, that I think he looks more physical, so I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I get it.
Or if he actually is, but there's been a couple of occasions where he's stepped into somebody and I think, or he's won an aerial duel that I wouldn't normally associate with him. So he looks bright, and I don't think it's any coincidence that whilst last year Mings played, we won. This run that we're on now, Pau's been playing and we're winning. I don't think that's a coincidence.
And that's part of the squad. I don't doubt that come November's not far away now. Mad how the year goes. I don't know, January, Mings will have a run in the team and be exceptional. And we'll all be talking about how he's, So again, this is the point of having a big squad, and a squad which has quality, his progression on the ball's been superb in the last few games, and it's nothing new. But when you see it, and especially from where we were earlier in the season, struggling to even get in the final third, one ball from Pau, and then it's into Rodgers' feet, and then it's up to them to do the rest. But just getting that opportunity to have more moments to hurt the opposition, it counts for a lot, and it's something that I think we were probably quick to forget. And actually, maybe that was a big solution for us.
Do you think these players do just need time out every so often? But when he's not in the team and Tyrone Mings is playing well, you kind of go, well, Mings is the better defender. Like, we look better with him. And now Torres has come back. We kind of go, I kind of forgot how good he was. Like, do they need that time out of the team to be appreciated almost?
Yeah, but time out of the team...
Or to reset themselves?
When Torres was out of the team, we were poor in the attacking third. He comes back in and now we're better.
Yeah.
Because of Pau. Like, if we want to improve defensively, okay, well, mate, like, you're going to have to give and take. Like, remember the back end of last season, Mings played a lot and was superb because we had Tielemans progressing the ball and our forwards were on song. They were fluid. They were playing well. That helped. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? I just think it is give and take. We're so hungry for one thing. Pau Torres helps you, in that situation. Mings will help in other situations. So will X player and Y player. It's all part and parcel of having a big squad, but the key thing is that we know what he brings to the team. We've seen it over the course of at least one full season, that 23 to 24. Obviously, he had a bit of an injury with his ankle, but he was so important in that season for how we played. And last season, kind of in and out, Mings came in and we shuffled things around. But especially as we played against Burnley, similar to that season where he was so good, Pau Torres. Yeah, like we are seeing those elements to his game again that really...
More players offside in the last couple of games as well?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
And we always used to speak about how it's a risky game, but also interesting because it feels like you're being you're under pressure or the opposition having loads of chances when they're not. If it was a game of FIFA, they wouldn't even get in your box.
Yeah, because you feel like, Burnley had that decent chance that Martinez saved, but if the whistle went when they're offside, that shot doesn't even happen, and you don't feel like that.
An interesting psychological thing, because sometimes you kind of, a Burnley now, do they feel like they can get at Villa a bit more, and do they commit a bit more? Do they think that we're vulnerable when actually we're not? And it would help if Burnley pushes on. If they get those couple of chances when they're offside and nearly score, and the crowd are up and they're thinking, hold on, there's a chance that we can, and they commit, and we take them apart as a result of it. So maybe that helps us, or kind of goes either way sometimes as well. It does get the tails up, and then we feel a bit sort of like, that's when it really does test us, especially in away games.
Yeah. Okay, give me number 2, please.
DRB 2.0.
DRB 2.0. Well, I know for a fact that we did the new DRB on last week's Q&A about Guess On, but this is about Marlon, right?
Similar system in that Burnley match to what we played a couple of years ago when DRB was playing in that central role. And it's interesting because I mentioned this a few times that Emery didn't quite think he was the right fit for that position.
Yeah. Did he ever give a reason for that?
Not exactly, and I think sometimes in a press conference it's not exactly the time for Emery to explain. You probably need him to throw up a slideshow of these different things, to really understand it. But then at the same time, I think Marlon can be it, but it's taken him so long to find it when it's not, Marlon dovetailing Watkins isn't rocket science.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I'm not sure if it's going to last, but it's certainly something we want to see more of.
Is that something that maybe Emery has seen something that has discouraged him from trying it? Whereas now he's either trying it because he feels like he has to because we've had so limited options, or they've been working on it behind the scenes for the last 3 months and now is the time to deploy it, maybe.
Possibly so. And for me, the runs and the space that was afforded in different areas of the pitch, that was the key thing for me. It wasn't just Marlon finishing well. We know he can finish well. And confidence for me is not an issue with Marlon. Emery said he's fast, but also fast, with his feet. Take it out and it's across goal, and a little backlift in his shots as well, just goes straight through. He's got a lot of quality, but it's how does it work in the structure? It worked against Burnley. Will it work against Spurs and other teams? I want to see it again, so hopefully so.
Yeah, okay. I've lost track of what numbers I'm doing, so you give me one.
You can give a number and I'll say if we've done it.
Okay, 7.
Coming of age.
Bogarde?
Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive again. One that we've also spoke about on the Q&A. His little fast movements that I'm going to keep bringing up until someone else agrees with me. Me and Matt Kendrick spoke about this on the post match for Burnley, and it feels a little bit of a kind of a changing of the guard to an extent of players who maybe were deemed not good enough at one stage, who now are good enough, maybe. And I'm sure Buendia is probably somebody that we're going to speak about as well. So I won't go into him too much, but if Bogarde had come into the team last year at centre-back or right-back, or even in midfield, I'd have thought we're short somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's good enough at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas if he started against Spurs, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. He's been so good over the last few weeks that...
You won't give the ball away. So.
I actually think, rather than... Well, if he had to play against Spurs, am I okay with it? I kind of flip that now to think, Bogarde will just play in midfield. Like, I'd choose him by... If everyone's available, I'd pick him in there. Do you know what I mean?
That's about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes after the full-time whistle, put a piece up basically saying I've put it coming of age. I've said he has come of age because he's now ready to play.
Like he'd have been a last resort option before, whereas now he's our first choice.
I think you summed it perfectly then. Like, it's your emotions to when you see him on the team sheet. You don't think, or especially you wouldn't, I don't think, for the games coming up. In terms of how he's playing now, you don't think like, that might be a problem, or maybe someone's going to have to like carry him along a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that. It really doesn't. Especially when he's got Kamara next to him. Don't get me wrong, if he's playing maybe alongside a less
Bogarde
senior
McGinn,
player,
I'd be a bit like, okay.
Possibly, we'll have to see how it works. And it has worked before, but, a bit more. But with Kamara especially alongside him, that's strong.
Yeah.
But it, of course, he's dipping into a back three and doing all sorts. So, yeah, loads of facets to his game that I like. I think he's developed quite rapidly in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
From what we see, only in games though. So maybe this is him being in training for the last year, and he's been doing well. But it's more for him, mentally and kind of psychologically. Is he ready to play Premier League football and really kind of put his stamp on games?
Yeah.
And he's done that. So hopefully he can continue. What I would say is that if he doesn't have a good game against Spurs or Liverpool or City, even if he plays those matches, we have to be, this is a 21-year-old who's only really now being pushed into the limelight. Last season he had bits here and there, but after that Palace 4-1, he didn't play again all season.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to remember. This isn't a player who kind of, had 10 minutes in every other game. He didn't play. So we've got to be careful as well, not to expect too much, but we're expecting that he's going to be a good player in the future.
I mentioned Buendia. What number is he? Because he's bound to the list.
Number 5.
Have you got a headline for him?
Making up for lost time.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you speak about him, because I've kind of done my piece on him, I think. What I kind of wanted to tie in to bring him up next to Bogarde and Marlon, even to an extent.
Yeah.
Seems to be a lot of good attitudes across the squad.
Yeah.
Of maybe not getting their chance, but not sulking about it. Marlon could have, like questions we were getting in the summer. Is Marlon going to put in a transfer request? I would if I was him. Like, I'm not getting it. None of that's. I'm not suggesting that those people were wrong, but it could be very easy for footballers who are very well paid and very kind of precious and protected, and everything's built around them. If I'm not getting my own way, I'm not having it then. Whereas Marlon's not done that. Bogarde, like you just said then, didn't play, has come back and kind of worked on bits of his game and looks better than ever. Buendia has been written off time and time again by us, by fans, by the club to an extent of you're for sale or you're available to go out on loan. He's come back and he's willing to work hard for the team as well. Matty Cash, someone we've touched on, repeatedly gets pelters for not being good enough, but still kind of knuckles down and gets on with it. Yeah. There seems to be a good mindset, and we spoke about mentality in the squad of big games and the pressure, but the kind of the willingness to work hard and learn and improve seems to be absolutely across the whole squad.
Yeah, Buendia obviously a player who, well, in the summer when he returned from his loan at Leverkusen, he didn't take up the option. He had a meeting with Emery and said, like, I want to stay. Like, this is where I want to be. This is my home. That didn't stop, interest coming. There was Stuttgart interest, Villa declined, a loan. I said making up for lost time because, of course, he had that bad injury.
Yeah.
And genuinely in that pre-season, guy was on smoke. He was really playing well. Looked really sharp and fit. Similar to how I viewed Morgan Rogers last summer, if that makes sense. Yeah. We were doing a piece and doing podcasts about, like, by the way, like, Rogers is a player to watch in the Premier League, let alone just for Villa. Like, people will stand up and notice him, and then against Arsenal, we had, like, Rice, off his back and Partey off his back. Huh?
Doesn't matter.
Rice for dinner, yeah, great. But Buendia, like, different, but at the same time, like, we know there's something there. We just need to see it and consistently.
Yeah.
Hopefully this isn't just he's playing well for a few games and then he drops out the team. And if that is the case, okay, as long as other players step up. And I think this is so important. Villa don't have world beaters in their squad. We don't. We have a lot of good players, but it's really important that when some players hit form, when it may drop down a little bit and Buendia doesn't score for 5 or 6 games, and that's okay, as long as the other players improve. And that's, again, Rogers still hasn't hit the form that we know he can hit, but we've had Buendia Buendia chip in. Yeah. Buendia chip in with goals. McGinn scoring 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
Buendia scoring twice in a row. This is exactly what I was saying in the weeks before. Rogers is getting criticised a lot, and rightly so. He's not playing very well, or hadn't been. It's improved. But it's it's amplified because everyone else around him isn't really playing particularly well either. Like, they're doing it right. They're not playing as poorly as maybe Rogers is. But then this is when they need to step up, and they have in the last few games. So yeah, more of that, please.
Anyway. Yeah. Number 8, please, John. Providing we've not already done it.
Yeah, this is more levels to go.
More levels to go.
It's kind of obvious, but really what I was saying there, Rogers still isn't hitting top form. Obviously, he's got 2 assists this season now, an assist in the last game.
But the stat about most assists in the Premier League?
Since April, yeah. 2 more than any other player. I know.
It doesn't feel like that at all, because obviously the talk last year was not as effective out on the right, but ultimately we were going...
or at the back end of the season, he packed it in.
Yeah, but ultimately still chipping in with numbers here and there. For him to have the more assists than any other player since April.
Yeah, 2 more than any other, which is good of Spurs.
When he's not particularly played well, and
that's a fair amount of games.
It sounds wrong.
April's a packed month.
Are you sure that's right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's right.
You're right though, because Villa started terribly, and we all knew that. And we spoke about it at the time. We've got better, and I said after the Sunderland game that was better than Everton. and it was very small baby steps, and hopefully the next
wasn't
game
worse.
is slightly better again, and slightly better again, and at some point that will mean that you win a game. We've now won 4 in a row across all competitions. Now, Spurs, Man City, Liverpool. What?
Just mad, isn't it?
I know.
4 games a few weeks ago, it was not.
Couldn't even score a goal. Get a shot on target. Spurs, Man City, and Liverpool are going to be difficult when Villa are playing well. So we could lose the next 3. Let's just say, for argument's sake. If those were different games, you could be looking at extending a winning run to 5 or 6 and really properly turning a corner. Maybe we still do against those opposition. But obviously we know they're going to be difficult. But you still don't even feel like now after Burnley that we've seen more signs of the old Villa.
Yeah, we haven't hit our straps though yet.
But still nowhere near like that. Weren't a 10 out of 10 game.
And this is why I look at those next 3 games coming up, and you look at them and think, oh, that's difficult. But we're only improving. Spurs aren't. They're not. They're a decent side, of course, but they're no better than what we were last season or the season before.
Yeah.
Liverpool have lost 3 games in a row, and City are City, and see what Rodgers' injury's getting on. But anyway, Rodgers has levels to go. Many more. And I keep saying this: if you saw Rodgers play like he did against Burnley, and that was Rodgers, like he's just joined, we'd all be saying what we're saying about Bogarde. He looks like he's got decent, a lot to his game. He's got an assist. He's doing this, he's doing that. We expect so much from him, and also players like Watkins, who scored 1 league goal, but again has a lot more to offer.
Tielemans got to come back. Player of the season. Is he another point?
Rodgers and Watkins, our best 2 players from last season. You'd say. Tielemans was player of the season. But in terms of output, right, easily our best 2. When they're firing, we're going to be a different animal altogether. We have other players to come back as well. Say number 9.
Shall we do number 9, John?
Yeah, sure. We have other players to come back, like Tielemans. Onana's just come back. Barkley's just come back. 3 midfielders. And also, we haven't seen much from Sancho or Elliott.
Yeah. It's quite exciting, really, in a strange way, because the mood around the club has changed so quickly that you look at the bench for Burnley and think that's just like we're not seeing a lot from many of these players, like you say. Sancho not played enough, Elliott the same. Guess someone's obviously on the bench, which we've seen a bit of, but still not enough to be like, yeah, he's brilliant or he's terrible. Obviously Tielemans to come back, and Onana hopefully can stay fit for at least a few games in a row and start to make an impact. Maatsen as well, who we all think probably should be starting. You suddenly go like, this is actually a really good squad, which we knew anyway, but because we started so poorly, we were quick to judge players for not good enough. Should have signed somebody else instead. Whereas actually, I think when Villa start ticking, you'll go, well, Maatsen will be in there. Yeah, Elliott, I think, will be really important.
I do a lot. I've said this in previous weeks, and it's going to allude to another point that we're going to make. But and I don't mean this in a harsh way, but I think it's just on the players here of kind of not get yourselves together. But we know you're good enough. You know you're good enough.
Yeah.
Who have we lost? From last season, only Jacob Ramsey
and Bailey,
yeah. But we've replaced those players with Elliott, Gesson, Sancho. Buendia's come into the mix and looks, pretty bright. Marlon, this is his first full season. You have Rodgers going again, hopefully. You have other midfielders. Bogarde's now stepping up. Bogarde could feel like a new signing, really. The defence, you've added depth in Lindelof. You've got another goalkeeper. We might talk about him soon. But the squad doesn't make it. It's a good squad. But this is why I keep saying it just. And you can kind of blame Unai for some stuff, but as we're gonna get on to in a minute, the guy is a genius tactically. We will get it right. He will get it right.
Yeah.
I just think it's on the players to show their, how
it's just a bit of final quality.
And sometimes it can be. I guess you can say, well, Unai has to help the players get confident. I guess you could say it like that. But ultimately, it's going to come from within them. Is the kind of point I'm trying to make. Rodgers getting that assist, he looked buzzing with it. Yeah, and rightly so.
And if Rodgers, that's a good thing.
If Rodgers had played better or to his best level, we'd probably be, I don't know,
we'd be 5 or 6
anywhere
points better off, definitely.
Yeah, like we said in the Q&A, probably would be.
Yeah,
and that's such a small thing, but it's not as if we don't have that. Rodgers is our player. He hasn't just come back from I don't know. I don't want to say this, but like an ACL or something, like where you really then have to unfortunately look at a player again and say, okay, has he lost a yard of pace? Has he? It's not that. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're all here. We haven't lost Watkins and replaced him with a striker who's unknown. They're still here. These are still very good players. We just have to get it out of them, and that's partially Unai job's partially theirs.
And it's these small margins that we spoke about on the post-match at the pass that Rodgers put through for Watkins.
Yeah.
It's just way over here. It's like, that's such a simple ball.
That's such a small margin.
A simple ball. If he gets that right, I'm not suggesting Watkins definitely scores, but it's a chance he might. It's more chance than what actually happened. You get that right, he gets an assist. Watkins gets a goal. The two players that are not doing very well at the moment have combined, and everything again just feels differently. But one of the points you made before about kind of going up different gears, we've managed to kind of carry those poorer performances and still get results. If we'd got 1 point in the Europa League instead of 6, or we'd have drawn to Fulham and beat Burnley, those performances are costing us in the here and now, whereas because of the others stepping up, like not from a goals perspective, but Bogarde and Buendia and Marlon coming in and scoring his brace, they're kind of covering for the squad's deficiencies elsewhere.
Which has to happen.
That's the point. That's
the point.
Exactly the point of the squad.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Give me Bizot then.
Bizot.
We've talked about him a lot this season, so we don't need to go into it too much, I don't think.
No Martinez, no problem.
Yeah.
Which is obviously Bizot.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I don't feel apprehensive or nervous seeing his name on the team sheet. Again, similar to Bogarde in midfield, I'm not like, oh no, that's a big problem. I'd actively be for it in many games. I'm not suggesting
I know what you mean.
Bizot starts against Spurs and City, but when we get to the Europa League games, or I don't know, busy fixture congestion where you've got an Everton, Burnley, Man City week or something, stick Bizot in for one of them. Why not? Change it around.
Yeah,
I'd feel comfortable in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't change my keeper out of...
Just for fun.
Yeah, it has to be out of necessity, I think. But it's fine.
But if you sense Martinez has got a massive bruise on his calf, he's got a calf tear or whatever, then if that's Robin Olsen, I'm going, Villa probably got a decent chance of losing this game without Martinez, whereas I don't feel like that now.
Exactly that. And again, like the Bogarde thing, 10 minutes after the whistle, after the Feyenoord game, I was just basically tapping away, just saying that same thing of like, this isn't the problem that it once was. It's not even a problem, to be honest. It's not a major problem. It's not really an issue. I don't really have much emotion with it, which is great. It's exactly what you want. Yeah. Most Premier League clubs, when their backup keeper's playing, apart from maybe a couple, will feel like, oh, okay, that's a step down. Martinez is still a better goalkeeper than Bizot. With a lot going on at the moment with Martinez, it feels like, again, we spoke about it earlier.
That gap is probably closer than it probably ever will be.
Yeah.
If Martinez is at the top of his game, that gap between the two is bigger.
Exactly. I think Martinez probably still isn't like 100% focused on, like he maybe was. You see, again, pushing players for the Burnley corner and don't get involved there, and the overplaying for the Fulham goal. But yeah, Bizot's doing everything in his power to, I don't want to say dethrone Martinez, because I don't think he imagines that will happen, but he's doing everything in his power to become,
would lessen the burden, I guess, of if you... Again, it's not Martinez's decision, it's Emery's, but Bizot has to play well for Emery to make that decision. If Martinez isn't quite right, you got to play, because you're the best goalkeeper that we've got. Whereas now, if Bizot's playing well, it's like, okay, well, we can afford to let you recover properly.
Yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic now for Martinez. He knows that there's a good goalkeeper behind him, and he's obviously been, presumably, given promises that like you are still going to be the number one, or maybe that doesn't even need to happen. But it's going to work one or two ways now. Either he gets agitated and his game suffers, or it improves, knowing that like I need to play here. If I'm not the number one at Villa and Bizot takes my place, that's not good for him. Just as an image, to be honest. Of course, he'll play for Argentina still. He'll be a legend for them, and he's already. But it's okay. Like I don't view that as a negative thing at all. Really, I think it's like a 2% chance of that being a bad thing in terms of the dynamic in goalkeepers. But I don't think Martinez will be so sort of. Again, protective. I think it will work well.
What I said before as well about attitude, Bizot seems to have a good attitude, good personality, good character. And Robin Olsen was, by all accounts, to be fair, but seems to understand his role, speaks well in that interview he did after the final game, and seems like a good character and one that is probably kind of
and for all
a fan favourite already, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of putting himself to maybe be a cult hero, especially if we go far in the Europa League, etc. And just lastly on that, for all the bad business... I say bad business, for all the business that Villa have been criticised for.
Some good Bizotness.
Yeah, there's a Marco Bizot for every what has been bad business? I can't even think of the top of my head. No, genuinely, it's not. I don't think it's been that bad. You can talk about Onana being maybe overpaid, Maatsen being overpaid, but that's a PSR deal. I'm not saying Villa have put out 10s out of 10s every time, but I'm also saying it's not been, I don't think anyway, as bad as what people have made out.
Yeah, we thought about doing a recruitment episode another time, didn't we? Or like ranking the Emery transfers or something. So, well, if you want that, we can maybe do that.
Not every transfer is going to do extremely well, but this Bizot one, I'm not too sure if we could have got a better backup, really. Like, you wouldn't want anyone else right now, would you?
No, definitely not. If my math is correct, we're on our final point.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's number 10, whether it is or not.
It is.
It is 10.
10 out of 10.
Excellent. Go on. What is
10
it?
out of 10 for a 10 out of 10 guy. Unai. Just trust him is my back him, trust him. Like, again, easy to say after winning 4 games in a row, but
I don't know. We were saying this when we were bad, though.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point. Is in like, if we hadn't won 4 in a row, would we be saying it now?
Oh,
I think that's the test. Quickest manager to win 80 matches, right?
Yeah, out of 150, is it?
Yeah, and I think it was Ron Saunders on 166, I think was the next best. That's like a remarkable record, especially again from the level that we were. But we know all of that. It's now what's to the future. And we was obviously asking questions about, well, Unai and him, is he ready to do this again? Another big challenge, difficult summer. All these questions, and we started so poorly. Has he got the energy to go again and to do what's necessary? I hope so, because we're not going to get a better manager than Unai Emery. We're not. We can't. This is not possible. But the question stood a few weeks ago, and I was asking it. In him, is he? We need him to be at 100%, and we need his players to also be 100% because it's so intense, it's so demanding, like he always says, and it's true. In a perfect world, everything is pushing in the right direction, but we were seeing signs that maybe it wasn't because players were so out of form and so out of confidence, and the structure of the team, you were scratching your head thinking, what are we actually trying to do here?
What are we doing?
But again, this is kind of why I was mentioning it in previous episodes, and I think in this one earlier, and I'm not blaming the players. This is Unai's fault to an extent because of the way we set up, the tactical decisions and players' personnel. Yeah. Maybe should have taken Rodgers out and Javier should have played more, whatever. But ultimately, over the course of a season and the course of time, you have to trust him that he'll get it right. Yeah. We can criticise in a post-match video when we don't beat Sunderland, but in no way, shape or form would that have been us saying, therefore this won't happen, or therefore we should look elsewhere. That was never the point, and I don't think should ever be the point, really. I think for what he's done for the club and the levels that he's taken us, the players that he's improved, and how the club is structured around him, nothing but complete and full support.
I agree. Yeah, completely agree. And this is what we were saying, and why I was so kind of bemused by it's time to make a change and get Iraola in and blah blah blah. Will we be relegated? I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
I think maybe some fans were kind of, I don't know, the point I was making of, well, is Unai 100% in? Is he still ready to give his all? Can he go again? That was my question, and I don't know if he was kind of lost in a way of some people maybe saying, oh, maybe it's time to change. Not as a criticism of Unai, but as more of a thought of, we don't look right.
The things are stale. There's a way to change that quickly. You can't change 20 players, but if you change your manager.
Yeah, if Unai's all in, fine.
Yeah.
And it appears that way, and obviously the new Roberto Alabe coming in as well would hopefully point to that. I stand by my point, by the way, that I made before about I want someone to come in who's going to oversee that change whenever it happens, be it, I know, as early as the summer, as early as, or as late as 5 years down the line. I mean, maybe that's a bit too far, but if that change is going to happen in the next few years, you want the club to be set up to live without Unai. But maybe Alabe is just the, how do I say it? This is now chapter 2. We've had a few chapters, but you know what I mean. It's like the second book of Unai, maybe.
Yeah, good. Is that the end of the list?
Yeah, we got through 10, unless there's any you want to add.
No, not particularly. I'm hungry, is what I've learned throughout this episode. I don't know whether you can hear my stomach rumbling through the mic, but I could really do something to eat. Enjoyed that, though. What I would encourage people to do who have listened or watched is to share your learnings as well. I'm sure there are other things that people have kind of picked up and highlighted this season, but these were things that you wanted to put together and chat about, and it's a good list. Yeah,
thanks. Yeah, there's probably some other bits and bobs, but Yeah, I think those are the pertinent ones.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for watching along or listening to this episode of the Claret and Blue podcast, which is sponsored by NordVPN, with a link down in the podcast description. John, thanks for coming in and joining me as per. Get involved with the comment section in YouTube or Spotify and leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back at some point next week, whether it's a Q&A or something else on Monday, not sure at the moment, as we begin our build up to what will be a busy period.
There's lots of games.
Yeah, Spurs, Go Ahead Eagles, Man City, Leeds,
Liverpool,
Wolves. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of this international break is quieter for us with just a couple of episodes, but once those games come back, we're going to be doing so much content and so many episodes. So plenty of Claret and Blue coming up. We'll see you next week. John, thanks for coming in. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you then. Bye.